So we have an interesting update here to a gamesindustry.biz article. Now, this is an article from a couple of days ago. It was published on March 8th, and they were talking about the proposed remedies to appease the CMA, to appease the UK regulators that Microsoft has come up with. I've been going through the document. I have a playlist of all the videos talking about PlayStation's response, read through the entire thing, and currently reading through Microsoft's response. We'll have that finished up tomorrow. So if you want to check those videos out, make sure to go check out that playlist. You'll see them all on my channel right now. And in the response from PlayStation, they had in there the deal that was actually offered to them from Microsoft, but it was completely redacted. You couldn't see any of the terms of that deal. And Microsoft talked about licensing content, giving access to Call of Duty for 10 years, as well as access to more Activision games in different cloud gaming services, making sure that people who previously purchased Activision games would get a license to stream it through any cloud gaming service that they wanted. Going forward, a lot of things that they have gone over, and they talked about the customer benefits of this deal, as well as the benefits for cloud gaming, and just stuff that you would think, looking at it from the consumer side of this deal, probably would be a positive for the gaming industry. And Sony has been the one that's been the major pushback against this entire deal, saying that it is going to create an anti-competitive market, extremely hurt competition, and pretty much end PlayStation as we know it. They've said in their response to the CMA that Call of Duty is their pillar, and once you hit that pillar out, they're going to crumble. Specifically with PlayStation Plus, it won't even be feasible for their PlayStation Plus service if they go ahead with this deal that Microsoft has offered, which would actually be giving Call of Duty to PlayStation Plus. Now, this was the article going over the remedies Microsoft talked about, and PlayStation actually now responded to gamesindustry.biz, and what they say is extremely interesting for a couple of reasons. But first of all, we will read the update and what they said. So this says, updated. In response to this latest release from the UK regulator, Sony has issued the following statement to GameIndustry.biz. Redacted versions of the observations filed by the SIE and Microsoft on the CMA's remedies notice were made public this week. Information regarding the terms of an offer made by Microsoft to provide future Call of Duty releases on PlayStation was redacted at the request of Microsoft. So PlayStation wanted those terms publicly available for everybody to see. They say, we believe their current offer will irreparably harm competition and innovation in the industry. Now, here is the actual deal, and you can see there is a lot of redaction for this deal. And Sony has come out and they've called out Microsoft, saying the reason it's because you're going to hurt the industry, you're going to hurt us, and we just can't accept these terms. We want everybody to see these terms, but you won't allow it. Now, I think this is pretty interesting for a couple of reasons. First of all, we already know Microsoft has offered 10-year deals to Nintendo and to NVIDIA GeForce Now, and both of those companies have gone ahead and accepted the deal. They came out and they said they've essentially offered the exact same deal to Sony, and they have pushed it away. They don't want anything to do with it. They even said they would be willing to sit down and negotiate the current terms that they have within that deal that they've offered to Nintendo, to NVIDIA GeForce Now, and then went ahead and offered to Sony to change it so that it better suits Sony and what they are looking for. But now we have Sony putting out this public statement, which I'm guessing they think that they can put this out because it's redacted and nobody will actually know the terms that they're referring to, and saying that it's going to irreparably hurt gaming, irreparably hurt the industry, and Microsoft doesn't want people to see it. So it's a pretty big statement that Sony has made here, calling out Microsoft, calling out Xbox, and the deal that they did offer them. What I think really is going on here is that specifically, if you read through Sony's response, you can read in between the lines, and to them, it's a bad deal for them because they don't want to pay Xbox and Microsoft a certain percentage of money to get Call of Duty into their service, knowing that it's just going to help their direct competitor and help them build up their ecosystem. Now, we won't ever actually know, at least for now, who is correct in this situation. But if you step back and think about it, if Nintendo accepted the deal, if NVIDIA GeForce or NVIDIA accepted the deal, both huge companies within the gaming industry, they really didn't even hesitate for these 10-year deals, if you think about it, because there wasn't any pushback. There wasn't really any negotiation for what we understand. They were happy with being able to get Call of Duty onto their services. Why would this deal just be so different that it automatically is going out there and hurting Sony? I think they're trying to create a seed of doubt into people's minds that Microsoft may have a different deal for Sony in a way that it would try to foreclose them going forward. Now, the CMA obviously has the details of these deals. They're going to have to make that educated opinion, educated decision about whether the offerings that Microsoft is offering Sony would actually harm the competition between the two companies. Of course, at the end of the day, if this deal does go through, Microsoft is in an advantageous position, far and away. And it's because Sony will be paying them money to get Call of Duty, which again is just going to help them grow their ecosystem. But I think it's pretty obvious it isn't going to destroy the competition of Sony. It isn't going to destroy PlayStation and their entire company, especially with how successful some of their first-party games are. You think about God of War Ragnarok and them surpassing 11 million sales back in February. The game came out in November. Just a ton of sales for that first-party game, and stuff like that would help their business if they put those games into their PlayStation Plus service. But what I'm thinking is they don't want to transition over to the subscription service. They've created a business model that if there's any disruption to the current industry, if there's any disruption in the way that they do business, it is going to hurt their bottom line. And that's what they're most afraid of. And that at the end of the day is on Sony. You look at any industry around the world, the companies that fail to adapt to the trends of the gaming industry or to the trends of the industry that they are in are the ones that are going to fall behind and the ones that aren't going to make it out or lose their dominant position in that market. And from what we are seeing right now, Microsoft has come in, created Game Pass, created cloud gaming, and created services with value that other companies are trying to emulate at this point. And Sony, even they are trying to emulate it. But I think Microsoft has such a big lead in terms of that stuff right now. And I think that getting Activision Blizzard is going to help that lead. And it's going to make it even harder for the companies to catch up from behind. Sony knows that this is going to hurt their business. But again, not in a way that's going to destroy them or make it anti-competitive. They're just going to have to continue to adapt and change and add more value to what they are currently offering, which at the end of the day creates more competition and then creates more value, and it's better for the gamers overall. But that was just an interesting statement that Sony did put out there, trying to plant that seed of doubt about the intentions of Microsoft, that the deal is just so bad, it is going to be irreparably harmful to competition and innovation in the industry. So hopefully those terms eventually get out. They could become public and then we can really judge it for ourselves, because right now we're just taking the word of Microsoft versus the word of Sony. But I'm going to leave that there, guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
We'll be right back.